Welcome to another episode of Business Bros. What up, ladies and gentlemen? I warned you with the lockdown, you're going to see more and more of our live feed because that's what we got time for. So I got Jeffrey Redondo on the show, frequent flyer of the Business Bros podcast.
You know it.
Yep, and we're going to be talking about financial emotions. Look, oftentimes it's very difficult to talk finance on a normal day-to-day. And with everything going the way it's going, fears and uncertainty are peril in the household. And you're kind of stuck with that other person that you got to talk about finances with. So we're going to talk to Jeffrey about what they're doing over there at Invictus Advisors to help people deal with the emotions that come with finance. So without further ado, Jeff, welcome to the program.
Thanks, Ernan. Nice to see you again.
Nice
How's
to
the family?
see you. Doing well. I mean, we're locked in. I think we're gonna have to break out some puzzles here soon, and luckily, for my kids, they're fortunate and unfortunate in the fact that they have two educators in the house, so they're not gonna lack on the teaching if we have to go, that whole online thing.
Yep.
We got mom that does English and dad that does math, so we're pretty set on what's going forward. Now, if they go with chemistry, I'm not going to be able to help them there. We're going to have to Khan Academy or something. But other than that, we're doing all right. How about yourself?
Good. Vidal and I are just hanging out in the house here. We moved from the office to our home, and so we're just working away. Luckily, the tax deadline got pushed back for 3 months, so we're even though most of our tax returns have already done. It was nice to kind of have a little bit of a breather between now and April 15th, but
I was reading some articles today about different stimulus packages that are coming out, and it kind of relates to what we're going to be talking about here. The federal government is basically trying to put a Band-Aid over a hemorrhaging wound in what's going to be happening in our economy. Whenever you have an economy stop for any period of time like we're having right now, especially with the uncertainty of things coming back, you have a lot of industries that have been impacted from not being able to open their doors to industries closing and people being laid off and not having their jobs. So we got the stimulus package that I didn't see that anything's finalized yet as far as how much people are going to be receiving checks in the mail for. But it's kind of one of those things where, like, now all of a sudden you're looking at your budget and you're like, holy crap, like, is this unemployment check going to be enough? Am I going to have enough money to pay for my rent? Am I going to have enough money to pay for my mortgage? And one of the biggest concerns that we have in the insurance company, and we're doing exactly what most of businesses should be doing right now, is trimming the fat, like going through and restructuring your business model to fit what's going to help you survive. We're worried about over here on the insurance company is that if people have to choose between putting food on the table and paying their insurance bill, they're going to put food on the table, and that's going to put a big hit on our bottom line when it comes to surviving as a business. So we're looking at things in our own business and unfortunately having those difficult conversations with people. And when you have to have those conversations, you're dealing with people's emotions, and it translates, it cascades all the way down.
Yeah, it's always such a difficult thing because money is just an emotional subject. It's one of those things you never talk about money, politics, or religion.
Mm-hmm.
And so it's one of those things that the more people talked about it, the actually more comfortable people would be with it. I just got off of another call with someone. The two things that I heard out of his mouth constantly was, I'm afraid to spend money, and I'm uncertain of what's going to come.
Mm-hmm.
And I said, if you're always spending money instead of investing money, and if you're afraid to come, what's to come, which things are going to get better here in a while, then you're never going to be able to move forward in your business. You're never going to be able to get the things that you need to accomplish done in your business.
You're living in fear.
Right. And so many people are now living in fear because of this. You can't always deal with the emotional side of money without trying to figure out what's causing it. And for this guy, his what it was for him was he had some issues with money when he was in college, And so now that's brought up around his business, around his current personal finances, around every decision that he makes is based around this old thing that was implanted in his brain.
Yeah, it's small habits that we've developed over time, whether we've tried to develop them or we've used them like a patch. For example, like, getting the stimulus money. We had this once before in the Bush era. There was stimulus packages that went out to try to, bump the economy. And what people aren't talking about is what happened. The money's infused so that we can kind of fuel the economy, so that businesses get a little bit of uptake and stuff. But if you remember back then, what happened is most people did what they are afraid of doing, and they hoard it. Nobody spent that money because they were afraid. They didn't know what was coming next.
Yeah.
And so it had an adverse effect in the economy. It didn't actually help or boost anything. And we're kind of looking at that same pathway. It's almost like I feel like these things are, government is enacting what we do emotionally. Like, we just try to throw money at the problem. Like, that's going to be the solution.
Yep.
And it's not always a solution. It's the habits in place that we should have ahead of time.
Right. And it's funny, it's funny that they're talking about giving out this $1,200 or whatever the magic number is going to be to people, because I'm like, if we're all stuck in our houses, how in the hell are we even going to spend it?
Exactly.
Macy's is closed, Best Buy is like, places are closed. Like, how are we going to spend this money that they want to give to us? So, it's such a,
Amazon's going to do well.
That's about it. That's the only thing. And they're actually only I don't know if this is still true, but it's they're only dropping stuff of essential needs, or is it still everything now?
I have no idea, to be honest. I mean, they dropped some costumes that we ordered for my wife's play that will probably not happen now, but that got dropped off. So I have no idea what's they probably have a priority system.
Yeah, that's what I'm guessing.
But I doubt that they're going to stop delivering.
It's funny because, what this actually, I think ultimately what this means, or what this is about confidence. Mm-hmm. And it's about comfortable with your financial situation about money. It's about being confident about the economy is going to be covered. It's being confident about your business. It's being confident about, when you talk to other people about what they're doing. It's about that confidence that we need to all have around money. And so, if you don't mind, I was just going to share, one of the things that we talked about, you're a tax person, Vidal's a tax person. And so, as a non-tax person, I wanted to figure out 5 questions that I could give you guys that I would actually feel smarter than your accountants.
Ooh.
Want to hear about them?
Yeah, heck yeah. Are you smarter than a fifth grade? Are you smarter than your accountant? I like that. Okay.
Ready?
Let's do it.
All right.
Let's do it.
So, okay. So first
what
question.
Does the tax code say on page 100?
Right. Well, these are all related to your business. Right? Okay. So first question is, if you were running this business, what is one area that you would financially improve, and how would you do it?
Which business are we talking about? Talking about my own business?
Yeah, it could be
hypothetical.
Hypothetical.
Oftentimes when people look at growing their bottom line, the first thing they go to is, what expenses can I cut? Right. And that to me is always one of those scarcity mindsets. Yes, you need to go through your P&L right now, and you need to look at things that are non-essential and get rid of those things. Yes, that's definitely a thing. But I think the true successful people in this world go after an abundant mindset and try to increase revenue rather than cut cost. Cutting costs should be something that you do anyways. Right now should be, what is it that I have in my arsenal, in my repertoire, in my business, that I can provide that is bringing value to people, that is essential right now. You know what I mean?
Funny. It's funny that you mentioned that, because when I used to work in the nonprofit sector, if they would go through budget cuts, the first area they would cut is development. Right?
It's
development is the sales part of the nonprofit. So they would go and cut their salespeople first before their program staff.
You're running a marathon, so the first thing you need to do is cut the feet out from under you. That's exactly the strategy.
When I heard that, I was like, "Are you kidding me? Like, we're the people that are bringing in the money. Like, we should be the last ones to go."
Yeah. Yesterday I had a couple. They're the owner and founders of Screwball Peanut Butter Whiskey, right? And they talked about they put together this organization that's been donating up to $500,000 to different organizations within the restaurant industry. So helping bartenders, helping bar owners, and all kinds of different things, right? And when they were sharing their story, what they essentially did was took their marketing money, the allocated funds for their marketing budget, and turned around and donated to specific industries. And I thought that was a genius move. That's
Brilliant.
not really cutting back in your advertising costs. You're reallocating and shifting the perspective of how you're using it. Yes, you're donating it to people who need it, but that donation process is a marketing campaign in and of itself. And that's
Yeah.
where the creativity comes into your particular business. What is it that you can do today to shift what you're doing to help people who are in need of that particular product or service right now?
Right. And I think that's funny because that's actually related to another one of the questions. Another one of the questions is another one of the questions that ask your accountants, so you feel smarter than them, right? Is how can I use you to add value to my business?
Ooh, that's a toughie, right? Well, let's see. So if I'm looking at it, if a client came up to me and asked me that, right? So that's the perspective that I should be looking at
Right.
this. I'm
Uh-huh.
the accountant because that's a tough question. That's like one of those questions that we got during fuck up nights. Like, what's a good question that I should be asking my mentor?
Yeah.
Right? Like
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
that's a tough thought process. I think right now would be if I had a client to come up and ask me, how could I bring value to them? It would be looking at their current revenue streams or their current P&Ls or even their balance sheet to see where they can find some maybe assets that they need to liquidate to get more cash, to maybe look at their statement of cash flows to see, where maybe they're in a position where they could be dipping a little more into a leverage situation to sustain, their month to month, or again looking at expenses that they could cut.
Yeah. And I think that's always really important. That we at the business, we always try to work with our businesses to consider us a partner. That's what that
Yes.
question is really about. It's about having your your accountant, your CPA, your bookkeeper, whoever does your financials to consider a partner,
Hmm.
help you, and just like, okay, just tell me the financials and let me just deal with it. No, use them as an asset to your business.
Well, that's the
And
difference
that's what that
between
question is really designed for.
right, and that's the difference between having an accountant and a CFO, right? And that's why Vidal calls himself the shark CFO, because it's more than just let me record your transactions, provide a P&L, and do your tax return. It's beyond that. It's let me help you as a business realize what these numbers are saying, where we can take your business if that's the direction that you want to focus in on, because you're the CEO of your business, right? You're the captain of the ship. But the captain of the ship doesn't do everything. The captain of the ship doesn't go and make sure the engine is running and make sure that the I don't know, the sail's up in the right spot or whatever it is that the ship has. The captain is still responsible of bringing the information from the different sections of the boat so that he can make the best decision to move forward. And
And
that's the
that's
point of the CFO, is to come. This is I'm showing you the numbers. Let me show you where you can go. You CEO make the decision on where you go from there.
right. And I think that's one of the strategies that I have that I share with people so that they so that they feel smarter than their accountant is you got to be confident about your business and you got to know your business inside and out so that when your CFO says, what's this expense about? Tell me about the expense. Why did you do this? So that you can actually have a confident, calm answer to that solution. Not like, what's this expense to Neiman Marcus? It's like I don't have any idea. It's about saying, that expense was Neiman Marcus was for gift cards I bought for a client. I'm going to give them, all my clients $25. It's about being able to have those now when you get bigger, yeah, it's a little bit different, but when you're a small business like under six figures, around six figures, you should really know most where your money's coming in and out. Um, Related to that, it's funny because one of the questions. Here's another one of the questions. Ready?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. How can I help you do a better job for me?
That's an excellent question, right?
See,
And
these are
those
good
are
questions.
those are good questions. That's a great question because I mean I've dealt with that client that comes into to me during tax season and shows up with a shoebox full of receipts. You know what I mean? And I'm like, what am I going to do with a bunch of receipts?
Yeah.
I don't have the time, nor do I want to sort through all these things to do your tax return. Now, if you're my accountant, if you're like where Vidal is, then this is something that you're doing on a regular basis. But having, if I can instruct you and show you, look, this is a spreadsheet. Anytime you have a transaction, all you got to do is put it here. These are the categories that I want you to put your money in. Or you know what? Let's separate your accounts and let's put one account for your personal. Let's put one account for your business. And anytime you're going to do something that's for fun, you're going to do this. We're going to use this account. Anytime you're going to do for business, we're going to use this account. But just to be able to explain to them, because oftentimes a professional starts speaking their professional language and assumes that everybody else knows what that means. Right? If I'm telling you, oh, well, it's okay, I got to do a journal entry for that. And you have no idea. What do you mean? Like, I got to pick up a book and write in a journal? Like, is that what you're talking about? That's not exactly what it means. So, every once in a while, you got to make sure that you speak to your professional in English and they understand that you don't speak that profession's language. Ask me what I can do to help you so that so that we can look and say, okay, look, if you did this, it would save us this much time. It means we can allocate it to this or whatever it means.
I call it accountanese.
Accountanese. That's exactly true. Yep. And it's really a lexicon, right? So every industry has its own lexicon. I don't know what my dentist is talking about when he has my mouth open and talking to his assistant there and yelling out numbers and stuff. I don't know what that stuff means. I don't speak dentist, right?
Right.
Same thing happens with our clients.
Yeah. So here's another question. I knew you would be good with these because you know your stuff, right? But if your accountant can't answer these questions, then you need to be. My humble opinion is that you need to be looking for somebody else.
Yeah.
Because these are really questions that are going to help you really determine if he's the right fit for you, he or she is the right fit for you.
And that's the thing. It's not a matter of whether that person is always good or the best at that particular situation. It's just, are they a good fit for your company? It's not personal, it's business. And right. You have to understand that there's a difference between the two. There's a lot of people that I've had conversations with, and there's people that I'm going to be having conversations with here in the near future. It's not personal. You're still a good person. I still think you're a cool individual, but business is business, and this is the situation that we're at, and you have to, if your business is to survive, you need to treat it like your infant child. You're not going to just leave your infant child around and have it fend for itself. You have to put your foot down and say, no, you know what, putting you in the sun today is probably not the best idea. We're going to put you over here, right? Even though it's a nice, beautiful day.
Yeah, whether it's your business, whether it's money, whether it's your relationship, it's all the same. It's a matter of nurturing it.
Yes.
It's a matter of nurturing relationship with money. That's another thing in this new program we're launching. That's another piece that we talk about. We talk about your relationship with money and how it's directly related to relationship that you want with a partner, right?
Yes.
So we talk about how there's different kinds of relationships with money. There's toxic relationships with money. There's codependent relationships with money. There's independent relationships with money. There's all these different types of relationships for you. And then how can you recreate that relationship with money? Mm-hmm. It may be as simple as this sounds ridiculous, but something as simple as looking at your bank balance every day, right?
Yeah.
Gives you a new appreciation for what's going with your money.
And the thing is, looking at your, and I'll take that a step further, because it's not always looking at your bank account. Because when times are good, you tend to look at that bank account a little more, right? You're like, yeah, let me look at it. Yeah, it's okay. I'm still good. It's when times are not good It's when you start to struggle that you need to be looking at that account more often.
Right.
And then you start noticing little things. Like the other day I noticed, I go to Planet Fitness, and I joined Planet Fitness because it was like 25 cents to start, $10 a month. I was like, why did I get billed $39 this month? That was a little
Yeah.
weird, right? You start to notice things if you're paying attention. You start to see your habits, and
Right.
you can adjust your habits. We try not to use our debit cards very often, and we try to stick to a cash budget for the same reasons, because we know our own habits. It's easy to swipe. It's easy to hit that one click and ship. And so if you can wean yourself off of those habits and develop new habits, you're developing a new relationship. It's the same way you would with dating your spouse or dating, it's the same type of thing. You want to fix something, you need to change some of the habits that you yourself are doing. You can't change the other person. You can't change the
No.
world, right? But you can change how you act and how you respond to that world.
Right. I think that's one of the biggest things that we're going to talk about in this program is, your reaction to money, and your reaction to the way the way you're responding to it. Because the only difference between someone that has a lot of money and someone that does, the way they respond to it.
Mm-hmm.
You know, it's a simple thing is, you're spending money versus investing money, right? Just that term, just changing word alone will completely your attitude of spending money,
Yeah,
right?
your
It's
perspective.
Yeah, exactly. So let me give you the last question,
All
and
right,
then
go
you could
go.
ready. You're good with them, so okay. So the last one is, what financial question am I not asking that I should be asking?
Ooh, that's a good one. That one I'm gonna have to give you the good old. It depends, right?
All
Because
right.
the person in front of me is gonna have a different
Right.
situation depending on who they are. But that is an excellent question to be asking, because there's times where even as your professional, I'm gonna look at things and I'm gonna be like, ooh, that doesn't look too good. But for fear of putting you in a bad space or putting you in a bad mindset, I might not want to talk about that. Like you brought up like the
Ah,
Neiman Marcus purchases, right? And I could see that, and I might say, "Hey, what were these for? Oh, they're for clients. Okay, cool." And I'm determining whether they're a deductible expense or not, right? But me being able to go a step further and say, "Look, your business is not in a position to be buying these types of gifts for your client at this particular moment in time. This is something you probably shouldn't do." Now, that conversation I might not have with you if I don't have that same comfort level with the client, right? Maybe the relationship that I have with you so far is just tell me what, report my information, give me my P&L, and do my tax return. But I don't know that you, the client, want more from me. As the professional, I don't know that you, the client, are looking at me as a business partner or just as a piece to your overall puzzle. Do you even want my professional advice in that context? Because if I give you my professional advice in that context and I don't realize that, hey, those Neiman Marcus are actually for that side chick that you're you're hanging
yeah,
out with, and
right.
I bring something up, like all of a sudden I might hurt our relationship. So it works both ways. The professional should be saying, "Hey, I see some things in your business that might hurt you down the road. Would you mind if I shared those with you?" That should be something that the professional should be doing. And at the same time, you as the client should be asking that question: "Hey, is there anything that you see that I don't, because you see numbers better than I do? Is there anything that I can be doing to help my business going forward?" So
And
it works. I think it works both ways.
and I think that's you hit the nail on the head. It's about having this level of respect for the person that's your accountant, to be able to use them as a business partner, to be able to talk to them about financial issues that you're having, and you being confident enough to say, you know what, I don't know this area very very well. Can you help me with it? It's about
Mhm.
out asking them for help. You know, the one of the biggest things that we've heard, not from our clients but from other people that I've worked with, other accountants, is that you know they they're so the accountants are such a hurry to get them out. They're just like, okay, blah 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 blah. Okay, we'll see you next time. We'll see you next year.
Mhm.
You know, instead of taking the time, you as the business owner saying, hey, let's take the time and sit down and talk about this so that, we can really get a handle on my finances. They feel
Exactly.
intimidated. They feel that they don't know what they're talking about. They feel that, they don't have their thoughts organized. And those are all things as a business owner, when you go into your meeting with your accountant, if you have those things and you have those um, pieces in place, like if you go and you just sit with, on Google, or email your best friend Hernan and be like, can you explain to me a profit and loss statement?
Yeah.
Like, what area should I be looking at? Because so many business owners, they look at the bottom of the financial statement. They're like, oh my God, I'm making money or I'm not making money.
Hmm.
But there's the rest of it,
Yes. All
there's
those
certain
lines
pockets.
above.
Yeah. It's like, if you look at certain, we learned one thing from our business coach is that so many business owners, are just looking at their financials in like just a haphazard way. But what we've done for our clients, and what she's done in her business, is we've created a spreadsheet to pick out maybe the 5 to 7 numbers that you as a business owner care about,
Hmm.
right? And we've
Yes.
created a spreadsheet to say, here are the 5 numbers you asked for. Here it is, right? If these numbers look great, then okay, the rest is, they're still, it's not as relevant, right? Because to you, what's important to you are these 5 numbers. And
Yes.
your business is doing well with these 5 numbers, right? And it's about sitting down and having a conversation with your accountant about those 5 numbers, or about those 7 numbers, or whatever you think is important for the growth of your business.
Yeah, and it comes down to your comfort level with math too, because things like, the ratio, as soon as I say ratio, like whoop, it's gone, right?
Yeah.
Like it's nothing more than a division problem. Like if you're looking at your income over your expenses or whatever it is, there's going to be a percentage that goes out, right? A percentage of your income goes out in this particular expense, and that's basically what a ratio is. But you're looking at different things. Most people have that bottom up approach. They start at the bottom of the P&L and then they kind of work up from the bottom and look at things, right? And what you're talking about is having both a bottom up and a top down approach, because there's certain things at the top when we're talking about the revenue, right? There's a section like cost of goods sold that could be a huge reason why your bottom line is not where you want it to be. Your cost of goods may be way too high. Maybe you're paying too much in shipping. Maybe your production cost is too, whatever it is. That's a section in the revenue spot that could be a huge indicator as to what you're doing. And so when you're picking out those 5 things in your business, these are not necessarily in any order. These are things that you can, if you paid attention to in what's going on in those sections, you could really drastically increase your net at the bottom, the number that you really want to increase.
And I don't know about you, Hernan, but if I was a business owner and I looked at, let's say I had these 5 sections that I wanted to look at, you know, sections, and then my accountant, I would feel, would be the one that would be like, if those sections that, it's hemorrhaging money or something, that the accountant would be like, hey, you know what? I know you usually only look at these 5 sections, but I think maybe this month we need to look at this because of this.
Mm-hmm.
Does that make sense?
It totally makes sense.
And
Again,
so many people, you know, business owners and entrepreneurs, they just want to know if, they're making money at these areas. But everything else, as a business owner, like you're saying, you need to worry about tons of other things. So maybe if the electricity bill is a lot higher this month, something your booker should catch, or your accountant catch,
mm-hmm.
not necessarily you as a business owner.
Exactly. It makes a big difference. But again, having that comfort level to either be the accountant to speak up that concern that you have, or you as the client saying, hey, it's okay. Like, I'm not going to be offended if you call me out on my Neiman Marcus side chain purchases. Like, I want to
Right.
know what's helping my business, because that's the ultimate goal here.
Yeah. You
So,
did pretty well. I
thanks.
thought I was going to stump you with a couple of.
But they are very good questions. Like if you're a client and you're looking to grow, I mean, and it also comes down to the difference between hiring a tax preparer and hiring, somebody who's going to help you grow your business, a CFO
Right.
or an accountant, because you're right. A tax preparer is going to come in and they are not an accountant. That's not what they do. They're just there to prepare your return. You're going to see them once a year. It's a very reactive situation. you want to grow, it takes a proactive approach, and you need to hire somebody that's going to be there for you throughout the year. And so, that in that way, you're not looking at things after they're done. You're planning ahead of time so that this is what needs to change, and you don't wait till the end of the year.
Yeah, we actually have a couple other. I'll just give you. I know a couple of the things that we talk about in this new program is being a money leader versus a money follower. Right? And so that's actually a really important piece that we'll be discussing. Another piece that we'll be discussing is, like I said, about dating your money and how to rekindle that relationship with money. I'll talk about one of the things that I'll talk about in this program is confessions of a shopaholic. About how I don't know. I think for a lot of people, they have this. They have their store, like, right? You go into your store, it's like, I could live in this store.
Yep.
Right?
Yep.
Which one is that for you?
For me, it's Walmart. Everybody hates Walmart, but I love that place. Like, I can get everything in one spot. I'm not a big shopper. You know what I mean? I don't go different places. I'm like, I need underwear. I need to go pick up underwear. I need to go pick up some grapes, and I need to pick up, I don't know, some paper plates. Like, I can get it all in one spot.
But isn't it when you walk into Walmart, you just have this feel like, I could just live in here?
Yeah, like everything I need is here.
Like, I love Costco. Like, Costco is that way for me. Like, I walk into Costco and I'm just like, I just could live in Costco, right? And so one of the things I talk about is I share my story about going into Costco and about how the different parts of Costco is about how I deal with, sometimes I deal with money. So like, I call it the four N's. So you're either nice with money, you're either neutral with money, you neglect money, or you're nervous about money.
That's so true. That's
right?
So true. Yeah, and we each will embody some, if not all, in certain aspects of our life, some of them very heavily.
Right. So those are the kind of the pieces of this new program that we're launching. So I'll definitely let you know about it. Once we get it up and running, we'll tell you about it. But it's gonna be some good stuff, and it's mostly about financial emotional mastery, and about how to deal with your emotions in a concrete way, so that you don't have to stress about it.
Perfect. Well, Jeff, I'm sure I will be hearing more about this. I'm looking forward to getting back on our normal routines and
talk about
having our meetups.
Routines. So Fuck Up Nights is at the end of April.
Assuming we're all good then.
Yeah, April, end of as of right now, end of April. Sorry, it's one of the problems from working from home.
Yeah.
So, Fuck Up Nights is as of right now is still on for April 28th. Vernon's going to be the host again. We have two people that will be there, so it's going to be exciting. So you can visit up at fuckupnights.com/San Diego, and you get all the details there. But it should be a good event, especially since we took a month off. So
we're looking forward to it. It's funny. I with the dog barking in the background, and I had this epiphany. I think my next parody is going to be on Zoom. I'm going to make a song all about the different scenarios on Zoom.
Right? The other thing about Zoom, I was thinking about, like, Zoom is going to be like the new Snapchat or Instagram or anything, right?
Oh, it's going to take over, yeah.
So you've heard it first. So if someone steals this idea, it's a good thing this is recorded, because I'm going to be like, look, this is what I talked about it. You should see if there's a Zoom filter.
There is.
Really?
I saw, now I don't know 100% if it's true, but I saw that people were like using Zoom filters because they get up and they don't put their makeup on or whatever.
Right.
Like, that's
what I'm saying, right?
I love pictures that I've been seeing where they're like business on top, quarantine on the bottom, and they're like
right? Sweats on the bottom and underwear or whatever.
Yeah, exactly. Nobody sees top up. That's all you're gonna see.
Right? It's going to change the way we do business, you know?
Oh, it will. Everything. I was talking to teachers too and saying the same type of thing. I go, I've been telling you guys, our school district has been going through some financial issues already. And I had been telling teachers, I'm like, look, you guys think your job is secure? Like anything can change in the future. This incident now is going to be one of those things that forces new change. Like you're just going to see it. People are going to modify and adapt. And then going back is wrong, right? Why go back when you've developed something new?
Yeah, I know we're short on time, but one of the questions I asked Vidal, and he had to think about this. So this is a sign-off question that you can think about. Maybe this is an Ask the Bros segment. Do you think there'll be an industry that will collapse after this event?
Yeah. Full collapse. Whew.
Or
That's a
like
tough one.
just change
Drastic change? I think it'll be education. I think it'll be a drastic change. If this lasts long enough where we have to revamp the way it's done, I mean, so in our school district, one of the big things before this whole coronavirus thing came out was they closed all the learning centers. And they said, if they're going to just have like one or two open, and that was about it. And they didn't really have a plan going out. And a lot of people were upset. They're like, every school should have a learning center. And I was one of those people that was like, no, I think this is a good idea. The classroom did not work for this particular group of kids, right? So why do we have to open up an alternative classroom for them? No, you have one place, right, where they can come in and get additional help, one location, but the rest should be an online platform like this, right? And now you have, 300 kids that you can have access to you, and the overhead is much smaller. You don't have all that space that you have to worry about. Yep. You have one teacher managing a number of different students. Like, just the efficiency behind it makes more sense. And so, I'm wondering, things are going to change, and I think education is going to be one of those things. I got, one of my business partners owns a school, and he can't conduct classroom, just licensing insurance agents or licensing real estate agents. The Department of Insurance, Department of Real Estate are closed. Like, how do we process that? Right. And so, there's a lot of changes that are going to be happening, and
airline industry is probably going to be completely reformatted, I think.
Yeah, well, but they got to come back. We're not going to stop traveling, so they will come back. Hurt, maybe some chapter 11 maybe, or some restructuring going on, but other than that, like, they're going to come back, and I just look forward to the efficiencies, the changes, and the positive that come out of this.
Right.
All right, I think Captain Crunch is calling you.
Give me some lunch. I'm like, okay, all right.
All right, ladies and gents, that's all we got for you guys today. Thanks, Jeff.
Bye.
Peace.